Congratulations, you've made it to this class. Now, in this class, we're going to talk a little bit about understanding the mind. You see, when it comes to smoking, when it comes to any kind of addiction, obviously the addiction is mostly in the mind. There's two aspects to addiction. One is the physical properties of whatever we are addicted to, and the other one, the most powerful one, is definitely the mental aspect. Now, the physical addiction part, just by having a mental attitude that is capable of beating the addiction, the physical part will automatically wither away. It's really not much of a big deal. The mental aspect, the ideas attached to the cigarette is what causes most of our problems, and that is what makes it the most difficult part to change and to bring about the freedom from the addiction. So it's imperative that we talk a little bit about the mind. Now, in this class, when you scroll down in your text, you will see that we have come up with a plan, a strategy to start changing some of your behaviors. Now, a lot of things are basically auto habits. We are just automatically doing things, and I wrote it in a text too. You can see an example. Have you noticed that in the morning when you get up, what do? You brush your teeth always with the same hand. You're not even aware of it, how you always pick up the brush in the same way, even starting at the same side of your mouth. The same thing is with your hair when you brush your hair. So these are things that are ingrained, and we have done this over and over again. And we're not even consciously aware. So when you're driving your car, are you aware of where your pedals go when you're braking or gas? It is all instinctual. And it only becomes habit due to continuous repetition. And this is how our habits have formed. The same thing is true for our smoking habit. The thing is, how come that you are consciously saying, I want to quit, and subconsciously the mind is holding on to this habit? We've talked about this in class number 1 when you read the script. We have talked about how this 90% of the mind is like a habit machine, and it will just want to repeat over and over again the same habits, just like you brush your teeth. So we need to make change in that subconscious mind. Now, when you were a child, between the ages of 0 and 8, your mind was wide open. Our mind is at that age like a sponge. Everything that comes to us immediately is absorbed into the mind. Have you noticed that certain children, when you expose them to foreign languages, they can't even write or read, but they're fluently able to pick up that language, and they're not even aware of how they learned it. But today, when you try to learn French, for example, it is very, very difficult. How come? Because around the age of 8 or 9, the mind kind of becomes closed, and the mind gets divided from a wide open space into a subconscious and a conscious mechanism. And so the conscious mind then remains to be just a small part of our mind, and the vast learning that we have gathered in our early childhood is what becomes the pattern of our life. Now, the only way to make change later on is due to continuous repetition or shock. For example, when we go through a shock experience, the mind instantly becomes imprinted even in the lower section of the subconscious mind. When you create a new habit, it needs to be repeated over and over. And so when you are smoking, you repeat. And then slowly this repetition becomes accepted in the subconscious mind. And once it's accepted there, it starts to become automatic. We start to resort to the habit even when we don't consciously necessarily want it, or when you say at some point, I don't need this anymore. But here now we have a problem, because now you say, I don't want this. So what do we need to do? We need to start to repeat over and over again new, better habits. And that's what the strategies in this course are about. We're going to bring about new, positive habits. But this is also a course about self-hypnosis, and this is where the secret sauce is presented to you, because we can speed up this change in the subconscious mind. You see, there are different levels of frequencies of your mind. When you are listening to me here now, and I would put sensors on you, and I would look at my computer screen, just like a lie detector or like an earthquake detector. I could see your mind in a short wave. We call it a beta wave. It's the cognitive awareness which is characterized by a short wave. But when you start listening to the audio tape that we have provided for you, and you will find that your mind starts to relax. And the mind, if I would look at my screen, at my sensors, I could see your mind wave becoming longer. Now, the longer the wave, the more suggestible you are. In other words, when we talk suggestible, the more you're able to absorb deep down in your subconscious mind new ideas. So that's why we have in this track, for example, we have a long, what we call induction, where I ask you to breathe in and relax your muscles. You see the light coming through your muscles and through your bones. What happens is this allows the body to change, the mind to change from a beta to an alpha wave, and it becomes more relaxed, and accordingly the mind becomes more open. So the secret of the self-hypnosis is really to come to that state of profound relaxation. And so not only the body relaxes, but your mind starts to change the frequency and it becomes open to new suggestions. Now, if I would continue this, when I, for example, work with my regression clients, sometimes a session could be 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And so the mind is then able to go even in a longer wave, which we call a theta wave. Now, this is a hyper-conscious state. You may have noticed you're not at all unconscious, you're becoming hyper-conscious. You're becoming conscious inside. So a lot of people have this notion that with hypnosis or self-hypnosis you become unconscious, but you will not. You're becoming conscious of the outside and less conscious of the inside, less conscious of the outside. It's like when you're driving your car, the lights are turned in front of you on the road. But as you are starting to listen to this audio track, the lights start to turn inside. You're not losing awareness. The outside awareness becomes a little bit subordinate to your internal focus and hyper awareness. And in this theta state, the mind will be very, very open, even to things beyond yourself, more in a universal awareness. Now, underneath the theta wave is delta, which is sleep. And so, guess what happens every night when you go to bed? You're in beta, you're going to alpha, to theta, and then to delta. So this is already a mechanism built into your day-to-day life. We're not trying to create a new kind of wave, a new kind of phenomenon in your mind. No, this is something that's quite natural to you. And so, in this alpha state where you will go, that you go and visit during this session, the mind is in an optimal meditative learning state. And this is where quickly new habits, new tendencies are shaped. So it's very critical that every day you repeat this audio file over and over again. Plus, please do the exercises that are prescribed to you in this class. These exercises are more a conscious strategy. Right? So the idea, strategy here is to work with the conscious mind, the conscious intentions, and the subconscious reprogramming. So we have a two-way approach, conscious, subconscious strategy, and you will find when you start following these methods, a great change will come to you rapidly. You see, if we would only use the conscious mind with some strategies and some talks, it would just be very, very weak. But since we gave you the secret sauce, we gave you this script, this is the secret. And so when you do both these things simultaneously, tremendous results will take place. And you may have noticed as you are listening to the script, it is helping you relax in so many other ways. So this is good for you no matter what you do. The relaxation and going into the alpha state of profound relaxation is good for your body. And so when you are going through the stress of cigarette withdrawal, there will be some fatigue and some stress in your body. And so all the more reasons why you practice the audio tape and help your body towards restoration. So, we don't want to make it too long and too complex today. All I like to suggest to you is continue on your path and follow the 7 strategy steps. These are very, very important, and every day listen to your audio track. The combination of these two is greatly going to strengthen you. And before you know it, you will have quit the cigarette. You will not even have any desire to smoke at all. So this is what we want. And I wish you good luck on your journey, and I'll see you in the next class.